welcome to another episode of I'm a Black Woman. Yes, I Matter. I'm your host, Kumara Denise. I am so excited to be taking this August Black Business Month and supporting and elevating the voices of awesome Black women founders across South Florida and beyond. I am honored to have my sister friend here, Latoya Lady Legacy Byrd. She's doing such impactful work for the community. She is from Miami-Dade. She is a Floridian, and she really believes in making sure that everyone in her community has a chance to find their financial freedom for success and for legacy building. Thank you so much for being here, Latoya.
Oh man, it's an honor. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share and to connect with you once again. Love the energy, the platform, the vibe, and the style. I have to throw that in there because it's iconic. So I'm happy to be here, happy to share and network and build with you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So, why don't you tell folks a little bit about your business or businesses?
We could definitely do that. So I'll start from my most recent addition to what it is that I do. So first and foremost, all things legacy related really catch my attention, and I kind of found my groove in the life insurance lane, if you will. And as of recent, with my background in education, I'm seeing what's going on with AI, and I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and pull that into the types of services that I'm offering and my skill set. Let me build my skill set and offer this as a service, because it's something so new. So as of late, March, I've been providing AI education and consulting to the professionals in my community. It has been a blast. It has been life changing. So, and I think that it's a interesting facet of what legacy is going to look like moving forward, talking about legacy futurism. And as technology evolves, if we're not in the mix, right? We definitely need to honor and recognize that right now is an era of time where things are quantumly shifting. And if we don't take advantage of what's at hand, we will be in a disadvantage, like forever, ever. Like that's how I feel. That's what I see going on.
Yeah.
hmm
And
So that's what I'm doing right now.
so I wanted to, I wasn't going to necessarily delve into AI, and I don't want this to be necessarily a controversial conversation.
But it
but
can be. It can be.
but there are certainly folks who are afraid, and I think this happens all the time, that there's new technology that comes out. People feel intimidated. People feel that their jobs or the way that they've been doing business is becoming out of date. Maybe they're being obsolete. And so sometimes when you're scared of change, you become stubborn in the ways that you have done things and not really been able to expand your mind and be flexible. Can you talk a little bit about how you see AI as a tool to help small businesses grow from being small to sustainable and even becoming big businesses that are creating other job opportunities for folks in the community?
Absolutely. I'll speak to it on the business side and then also from the legacy and the family side. So on the business side, of course, to me, it's like it's hands down, it's obvious that you want to be able to grab a hold of new technologies as they're emerging, because it's going to have a lot to do with how you interact on the global international platform. It's so many people on the planet that we can reach now. And if we can do it more efficient, and more creatively, why not?
Yeah.
Right? Why not? And it just puts us in a position where there's no excuses. What I love about AI right now is leveling the playing field.
Mm.
So, from the geeks to the extremists to Joe Smo at the grocery store, everybody got their hands on some form of AI right now, and it's up to you with what you do with it. So it becomes the baton that you fashion it to be. A lot of people are taking in AI and just enhancing what it is that they do in their business versus seeing the opportunity to escalate an impact
Mm.
um, that can take them far into the future. And so on that note, I think businesses need to take it in on a bite size type of intake at first, but with the intention of having a buffet of AI options.
Mm.
Like come on. I need you to smell the aroma. I need you to see it. I need you to take, a little bit in now that you can do, but then understand it's going to consume um, our world. And because of that, you can be in a position to be a producer.
Mm. I love that. I love
So, like, yeah, yeah. So I'll say this: be prepared because March, the end of February, March, no sleep, did not sleep because I had an epiphany of an awakening type of thing, and learning just about the basics of working with Chat GPT and large language models and what prompting actually means. And so
Mm.
as I'm learning that thought to fruition is what I was witnessing, and that's huge. We're talking about thought to fruition, text to fruition.
Yeah.
What?
We're like shortening the time in between, right? Because we know before AI, a lot of times going from thought to action would take quite a bit of time, depending on what the
Resources,
project was, what
people.
the resources, etc. Now you can literally, if you can figure out your prompt correctly, you can get something that gives you a template that you can then work from and edit
Mm-hmm.
and judge accordingly. And obviously, there is some skill to that we have to learn and we have to upskill, or we can hire people who have that skill and partner with folks who have that particular skill. Because we don't need to do everything as business owners. We need to do the thing that we are good at, what our talents are. So let's talk a little bit about Lady Legacy. Everything is about legacy for you. Can you talk about why the word legacy is so important? It's a constant theme in the work that you do and the ways that you have decided to say yes to different ventures or yes to creating different ventures for the community.
Absolutely. I'm going to touch on legacy and then talk about how AI and legacy kind of fit together and what 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 it may look like moving forward. So for me, legacy is just it's something important. It's something that I've always had a crush on. I always had a crush on legacy. I always had a crush on a full family unit, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, like family, like village. Like that's always been hot to me since I was a kid. And Harriet Tubman, learning about the Underground Railroad and just seeing people go from a state of enslavement to a state of freedom, I was like, wow, that's huge. I want to do that in my business. I want to
Mm.
do that in my family, go from a state of lack to a state of abundance. I want to do that mentally. I want to do that physically, just like all of it, right? And in doing so, and in thinking about that, and embracing I was like, wow, how can families use AI to kind of embrace legacy?
Mm.
And so, how can we use AI to make our family better? How can we use AI to customize a trust? How can we use AI to find out about a trust? How
Mm.
can we use AI to find out the best life insurance, policy and game plan? How can we use those types of things? So when I hear about legacy futurism, whatever that may mean, right? But for me, it means embracing technology, embracing planning like an Egyptian, you know, and making those type of power moves for your family. Like what are we doing and how can we use technology now to make an undeniable, impressionable like presence while we going.
Well,
You
so
know what
you've
I mean?
mentioned,
Going.
I love that. And you've mentioned life insurance a couple times. So why don't we talk a little bit about your life insurance business and all the ways that people can use life insurance to think about their legacy, to create it as an investment vehicle. A lot of folks don't know about that. So if you could just give us a little overview.
All right. So In regards to why it's the best tool that you want to have in regards to your legacy toolbox, right? It's a few things you need to have in your possession, and life insurance just happens to be one of them. And we're guaranteed to leave this planet, and there's a high probability that as we get older, that we may encounter some form of illness, critical, terminal, or chronic. And it would just make sense to put a financial tool in place that helps you in those events,
Mm.
right? And that's life insurance. And it's not a sexy topic. It's not fun. It's taboo. It's controversial, and people would rather just not talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's people who don't understand it and people who don't. If you don't understand it, you won't value it. However, in other families and different cultures and different circles, it's just a matter of fact. Like as soon as the baby is born, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're securing. We're planning like an Egyptian. This is what we're doing. We're putting things in order. The house and the foundation has already been laid, right? And so it just comes natural to certain families or to certain cultures of what to do. And it's like we go to school. The only reason we're in school is for money.
Hmm.
You're gaining knowledge so that you can then either have a skill or use that knowledge to get money. And you're
True.
getting that money because of your house, your home, your family, your village, your foundation, right?
Mm.
But somewhere along the line, it gets there's a disconnect, and then it's like I'm going to school and I'm learning nothing, and then I end up not making enough money, and then I don't even pay attention to what is really important and what financial education. I'm gonna exchange financial education for an upgrade and say literacy. I'm sorry, legacy literacy.
Mm.
Can we say that? Stop saying financial literacy. We know how to go to the bank already. Okay, great. We need legacy literacy because we need to know how do we now put everything in the trust name. How do we do that? And I'm using AI to help me answer those questions. And I'm showing my clients and other families how to just start exposing yourself to information that you probably would have had to have a retainer to even speak to someone about, you
Yeah.
know? So, and life insurance is just a tool that we can use. And I'll give you a quick little example. There's different types of policies, right? You got to find what makes sense for your family. But one of the things that I'll speak on with life insurance is living benefits. And this is where you get to access the policy while you're living. And I had a gentleman that suffered a heart attack during COVID. And March 23rd, I called all my clients. I was like, listen, a lot is going on. I want you to know I'm here for you. If you decide that there's an issue and you can't pay for the policy, let's go ahead and call the carrier and see what we can work out so you
Mm.
don't lose your policy. And he was adamant. He was like, look, I don't care. I don't care nothing about that. My family needs to eat. And that's a bill. It's not a priority. A few months later, his wife calls me. He's had a heart attack. I'm starting to cry. She was like, no, he's alive and we need to put a claim. I was like, a claim? He didn't tell you that he let the policy lapse. Now she starts crying.
Oh no.
And I'm like, oh God, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Because this is a classic example of not prioritizing something that can just that can save your family. It could be a negative spiral effect when someone passes away or experiences an injury that affects the family financially. you know so long story short, we were able to pay all the past months of past due. We had to do it within 24 hours,
Oh wow.
and then the policy would have been active, because in 2 days he had already racked up $50,000 in medical bills,
Wow.
and in COVID, and nobody's working, right? And so, long story short, we were able to get him out of a term policy. Now, a term policy is a policy that has a expiration date, and
Yep.
his expiration date was 30 years, and it was like 600,000 and something, and we were able to get him $195,000 from the policy.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. And so those are the types of things that life insurance can do. And, to speak to the very thing that he was fearful of, like, how am I going to take care of my family? And maybe the heart attack came from stress from COVID. Maybe it came, from hereditary. I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, he ended up having more money than he would have worked that year, you know? So in regards to investments, insurance policies can also be
That's right.
um, an alternative to investing, right? We have to be strategic in the words that we use. So yeah, there's a way that you can use your policy depending on what type you use, a permanent, whole life, or universal, depending on how you want to structure the growth of your money, how you want to water those seeds. You can actually get a return from it. And we sit down with families and show them how that's done and what's the best way to go about it. So sometimes people are interested in starting their policies with lump sums of money where they can then have access to that. Um, in short, that's referred to as infinite banking.
Mm.
And it's just fun to be able to sit with families to figure out, in freestyle, and thought, and brainstorming, how we gonna get this money, how we gonna do what we gonna do. And it's so fun to sit and talk with them and empower them and share information, um, and then have them feel secure and confident in what they've done and the foundation that they've built. And one of the things that I do uniquely is I give a signature legacy experience. So, like I said, life insurance is not the end all be all. I'm going to connect you with my network because your family may have goals, may have health goals. Your family may have business goals, and I may need to connect them with Tech LLC, because I know my partner can help them elevate their business. So when we talk about legacy, it's not only a life insurance policy. It's looking at the family as a whole unit and encapsulating all the things that make a family, all the elements that bring a legacy together, not just the policy and not just the money.
I love that. And I love this idea of legacy literacy. I've got like my wheels turning over here. So we'll talk a little bit offline about that. And just on a personal note, I am always thinking, to your point about legacy, who's going to take on my business, or how is my business going to be inherited? What's going to happen if I am no longer here tomorrow? Always thinking about diversified investment vehicles, of which some life insurance policies that I hold are part of that investment strategy that I have. And of course, diversified revenue income streams, which I think a lot of business owners, founders, side hustlers, we understand the importance of having multiple streams of income as we're thinking about legacy literacy. So there are like a few different things that the schools education are completely lacking, that we are going to have to come in as a community and step up and fill those gaps in order to ensure that people are living the best quality lives for themselves, for their family, and for generations to come. So along those lines, how did you know that entrepreneurship was the path for you?
Mm. So that's an easy one. Growing up in public housing, I saw two examples outside. I saw the cookie lady and I saw the dope boys. And I automatically knew, and I consulted with my mom, like I had a real meeting with her,
Mm.
like at 5 years old. Listen, let's come over here to the table. Like, mama, let's do this. This is the plan. Let's be the cookie lady.
Mm.
And she paused and she's thinking and she's like, I don't want people knocking at my door all the time tonight. And I'm just like heartbroken. And I'm like, this is the grand plan. Like, this is how we going to get money. This is how we're gonna get the money, right? And in my head, it was, laid out perfect. Like I was gonna be the person answering the door, and she was gonna make sure we had our, all of our snacks stocked and everything. And so, silently, as a child, when you get that type of let down and disappointment on something you so high on, in my head, I was like, all right, this ain't gonna work. I'm gonna have to move. And so I ran away.
I can't.
I ran away to the very house that I'm in right now, which AKA means I went and spent the night at my aunt's house for the weekend because my aunt, she's with whatever I'm with, she's with it. So and I love her. Shout out to Auntie Mabby. And so I knew that in that space and thinking about what just happened, like, dang, my mom, she ain't with it. She's not down. And in my head, I was like, I know she don't want to sell dope. Like, I know that's not. So we're not doing the bad thing, and we're not doing the good thing. And in my 5-year-old mind, I'm like, so we're doing the work thing. Like that's the only option. And so from there, it's just always been a thing for me to figure out something to do, right? And so that was at 5 years old. In high school, I taught myself how to braid, how to do hair. So I'm doing hair in high school. And I remember one of my cousins, he was a barber. He would be cutting hair, bringing his clippers to school. He's doing cuts before school, cuts at lunch, and cuts after school. Like it's just this thing. Oh, I am a Spartan for those of you that were wondering. Red, black, okay, and silver. Yes, 98. That's me. Um, and so from high school and going into college. First of all, let me say this: in high school, I realized that if you want something, you have to make it happen.
Mm.
And I love, even though my mom wasn't with entrepreneurship, she was with seeing about her family, right? And as I got older, I began to appreciate her hard work a lot more. But on the first day of ninth grade, I was like, these kids are not gonna make it at this South Ridge. And I realized I needed some Nikes. I had this moment like, it's not it, mom. Like it's not it. And so we went to the mall that afternoon and she taught me a lesson of you have what you have and you have to make the most of it. And I was like, oh, that means I need to get a job.
Mm.
So in the midst of understanding that I need to get resources, I need to get money, I need to get finances, right? I'm like, shoot, the business, the entrepreneur side of my thought process wasn't supported. So I didn't really like know what to do at that point in high school. But I knew that I could go get a job at Publix, at Eckerd's, now CVS.
Oh my God. Do you know one of my first jobs was at Ecker Drugs too?
Didn't they have the bomb playlist in the background? That soft rock 80s music.
Oh my God, girl. I was part of the team I guess when CVS bought them, when we had to switch everything from Ecker to CVS. It was like a summer job that I had in high school one year.
Oh my goodness, we got something. Another thing in common,
Oh
right?
my God.
Listen, it was Ecker Drugs, Publix, and McDonald's. I worked those jobs all at the same time.
Oh wow.
Because
While
as
going to
a
school. While
yeah,
going to school.
because
Yeah.
while going to school, because you can only get like 4 or 5 hours each, you know. And I'm like, listen, the way it works, I need to get this money. So I just always had this concept of if I want something, I gotta create a way to get it.
Mm.
And then going into college, same thing, doing hair, cooking food, and doing things under the table. Like we weren't supposed to cook and sell food on campus. And I was like, man, bump that. You gonna get this spaghetti dinner. this salad and this garlic rolls for $5 a plate. You gonna get that. And then in that moment in college is where I began to gravitate towards business a little bit more, because
Mm.
all the people who were my clients and I was braiding their hair, this one is talking my ear off about the studio, right? And sound engineering. And then this other one is the rapper. And then I met, the fashion designer. And I was like, how can I connect all of these people? How can I connect them? And that's when Preferred Networking Correspondence was born. And it was PNC consulting firm, and it was ahead of its time. And it was a membership based community, networking community. And I wanted it to be super duper exclusive. And I did like small little events, like inviting certain people. We met at Black owned businesses, restaurants, and we're brainstorming at the table, figuring out, okay, what can we do now with the resources that we have now, that when we walk away from this table, like it's a deal, it's a gig, it's a partnership, it's the exchange. And that's kind of how it started. And then community and getting involved with youth, and and then I just had this pivotal moment between graduating from FIU and not having a job. I started out as an engineer major, couldn't pass calculus 4. Then I was like, I know I'm not crazy, so let me change my major so I could pass, so get up out of here, and change to business. And at the time, no one told me, that my degree had an expiration date. So in my journey of entrepreneurship, right, right before I started my professional career, I was on South Beach selling water, and then making $100 every 15 minutes, and then also starting a coaching group with my little cousins called Generation Flight. And Flight stands for Future Leaders in God's Hands Together. And we were the Skyliners, right? Those two events kind of propelled me, and were kind of a foreshadow for what I would experience in business and entrepreneurship, and what I would experience going into education, you know, unplanned. I didn't plan to do that. Education was not my thing. But when I look back in hindsight, it's like, wow, all these different life events were kind of always leading me to either be solution oriented, service youth, and do something pertaining to an elevated hustle, if you will. Because sometimes when we think a side hustle is here, but side hustle gives us the experience and the grit and all of that we need to scale emotionally, mentally, as we embrace business. And so that was my a transitional period. That was in 2005. And fast forward to now, I've done many different things, always involved in network marketing, some way, shape, or form. I love the experience that I got. I am not in it now, but loved what I learned, and also love what I learned in a professional setting, and kind of took all of that and became a business partner with the charter school company that I became a teacher with. And that was the last 5 years of my, um, working with that charter school company. So it kind of all came together. I was able to bring my uh, education profession background into the mix, as well as become a contractor with the school. And then I was paid to network, and that's hot. And I think as a business owner, we always want to figure out how can we make our net worth, all that type of, vibes that we were here talking about with you last week. That became a real tangible thing. And I saw that that was a skill set that I was learning and sharpening for myself, for my community, for my students. And, it just, led me right into networking and connecting with life insurance. And, and now we're here.
I mean, I think it's important to highlight all of the varied experiences that we have as entrepreneurs because that is the story of our success, the experiences, the learnings, the network, the activating our network, so that there's truly our net worth and having real community impact. So, Toya, I know that you give into the community a lot, and it is impactful. Um, can you tell us about how you take care of you? How do you take care of you? How do you self care so that you can continue to pour back into us?
Absolutely. I had to learn about self-care from an interesting angle, and out of giving and giving, you just get to a point where you're like, this is not working. This ain't working. And when you don't have a coach, when you don't have a support team, you end up wasting a lot of time and energy. And I noticed that was the position that I was in. And so instead of being downtrodden and depressed about me not having all these elements that I thought I needed, I just decided to take a step back and stop giving, and replenish
Mm,
myself. And that looks like so many things. I'm an alternative medicine baby. So anything in the alternative realm, that's me. Sound bathing, meditating, exercise, those things are important. And fire is very important for me. So self-care, there's always a candle lit.
mm.
And this, my mom said I've been like this since a kid. Like she'll be like, "What you want for Christmas?" And I'm like, "Candles." And she's like, "No, you're not burning the house down." So for me, fire is very important. Being outside, being able to observe. Self care for me is observing myself, and knowing when to plug in, the candles, plug in the Alice Coltrane, when to plug in, the Badu. So it's music therapy, it's sound therapy, it's sometimes being submerged in art, and sometimes being around certain energies, your ancestors who are, here, the elders, like sitting at the lap of, an auntie or great aunt, and just soaking them up, and learning something from them. So self-care for me is definitely what's going on immediately after 5 o'clock
I love that.
every day.
Every day. Every day. Woo Wednesday in the house.
Ooh, hey, wait, let's speak to that. So music, music is an important part of self-care, and we have to choose our music wisely because it can have an effect on the energy and the vibe and the frequency, right? And so Woo Wednesday for me is a fun way for me to stay youthful, and be connected with my favorite rap group. And my favorite member is Old Dirty. I have to put that out there. And so I'm a seasonal vegan, and so on Wednesdays, I'm doing the vegan Wu Tang thing, Asian fusion food, Love Life Cafe or Minty Z, whichever one. And I'm bringing friends along, and we doing self care with Wu therapy. Yeah, Wu therapy on Wednesdays. So
I love it. I love
holla
it. I
at
love
me.
it. And just in case people did not get the reference, Woo is for Wu Tang Clan. Okay. How can people get in touch with you, Latoya, Miss Lady Legacy?
Oh, absolutely. You can get in touch with me on Instagram, Lady Legacy Coin on Instagram, as well as Legacy Lane Co. Legacy Lane Co. That's short for consulting. I'm there on Instagram, and you can also book a consultation with me at www.legacylane.consulting. And on Legacy Lane Coin, you will be seeing some interesting, fun things. I'll be posting pertaining to a new adventure book that I'll be dropping.
that's related to all the things that we talked about today: legacy, futurism, crypto, life insurance, NFTs, and it's a fun adventure story and book to help see what legacy can really do and why it's important. So it's a fun way of approaching life insurance, but with a youthful twist and a fun approach.
I love that. I love that. And do you have an event coming up that you want to talk about?
Absolutely. So on Wednesdays, I do a workshop for those that are interested. And this month, we are starting, not this upcoming Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. I do courses on AI, introducing AI to the community. So if you dare to join my class, you're welcome to. You can check it out on prompt to me nicely 2023.eventbrite.com, and you can join us. My classes are rather intimate, and I love them because I get the opportunity to walk a family through, to walk a professional through those baby steps of getting into AI. So I have a lot of fun with that, and you're welcome to join.
Well, anything I can do to support my sisters, I will do. No questions asked.
Thank
Latoya,
you.
Lady Legacy, thank you so much for being on here. Again, we are celebrating Black women owned, led, founded businesses across South Florida for August Black Business Month. Make sure you come out and support our awesome Black women founders. Make sure you're thinking about your legacy literacy with Miss Lady Legacy. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, peace.